Welcome to Maryland and discover the ultimate dilemma. Discover the key to unlocking American dream as we delve into the age-old question, to rent or to buy. Join us in my exciting journey through the captivating landscapes of Maryland as we explore the hidden secrets and untold stories behind a decision that could shape your future. Get ready for thought-provoking adventure that'll challenge your perceptions, reveal the true path to your perfect home. Are you ready? Let's find out. You may be in a position where you're only going to be here short term, so renting is the way to go. But if you're going to be here a little longer than short term, and I mean a little longer than a year, maybe 2 years, then you definitely want to consider buying a house. Hey, I'm John Ruckman. I'm the Charm City property dude. And this video, I'm going to be playing devil's advocate and the angel, and I'm going to say renting and buying. I'm going to say a whole bunch of things here that I think you need to know. But before we go, do me a favor. Do me a solid, hit the like and subscribe button, hit that notification bell for this and all the other great videos. All right, so I'm going to give you 5 good reasons why I think you should buy, and I'm going to tell you why not to rent. But before we get there, I want to just say you want to stay tuned until the very end because I'm going to show you something. Something you probably didn't know about me. Anyway, I'll get to it, but you have to hang until the very end. All right, look. You're moving into the state. There's certainly a lot of great things here. You've got the recreation. You got the sports team. I'm wearing my Orioles shirt, the Under Armour. Under Armour hires, by the way. You've got a great job, and you figured out the secondary employment. But now you're thinking, I want to rent a house. Well, that's great. I'm going to give you 2 reasons that makes perfect sense. And the first reason is if you're not going to be here more than 1 or 2 years, and then you're going right back to where you went. For instance, a few years ago, we had the big push on base closings, and all the people were moving down from New Jersey to APG here, and we had this big push on, all the military people are coming. And what we found is that the initial staff that was going to retire here were buying houses, and then the support staff that were coming here and only going to be here for like a year, 2 years, they were renting and they were moving right back to where they lived. All right. Number one, in this market right now, if you buy, say, a $300,000 house, your mortgage payment's about $2,000. That same house on the market for rent, if you could find it, is about $2,500 to $3,000 a month. So if you rent, it's going to be about $1,000 more for the same house as if you were to buy it. Number 2, if you're only here for short term, and I'm saying like 1 or 2 years, it makes sense to rent. Okay, because at this point, if you buy, you're not going to build enough equity in your house, and equity is everything to want a home ownership. With buying a house, you get home ownership. You can do, you have positive equity. You can do a HELOC. That's a home equity line of credit. And believe you me, you can do a lot with that home equity line of credit. For instance, my wife and I have a house here. We've lived here a while. We got a home equity line of credit. We used the home equity line of credit to buy a beach house. Okay. We paid off the home equity line of credit, and then we used it to do some improvements around the house. So there's a lot to be said about the equity in your house. But if you're renting, as soon as you put your money in the landlord's pocket, that's it. It's gone. You're never going to see that money again. However, if you're only here short term, it makes sense to rent. Owning a home gives you control over your situation. Like if I wanted to paint a wall here, I don't have to get approval. Well, maybe I have to get approval from my wife. If I want to put a deck on, I can put a deck on. If I want it, whatever I want to do around the house, I can do it because I am in control. With the rental, if you want to paint or you want to do anything like that, and it doesn't make any sense to, you got to contact the landlord and you got to say, hey, listen, I want to paint. Then they give you a color choice of what you can paint. So when you buy a house, you have all the control. And if you're renting, you don't have any control at all. You have to ask the landlord for everything. Here's another caveat to that control. You're buying a house, you're living there. No one can, as long as you're making the payments and you're good, nobody can tell you you have to move. Number 2 on that is if the landlord and you're renting from decides that they want to sell the house, they'll give you a 45 or 60-day notice to say, hey, You get to vacate your home that you've lived for the last 5 years, and we need you out in 45 days. And now you're packing and you're scrambling to get another rental or to buy a house. Number 3 here is the equity that you have in your home today is going to be more in the future if, say, the landlord tells you you have to move. Does that make sense? So Scott buys a house. He lives there 5 years. You're renting for 5 years. Okay. Scott has built up equity in the 5 years to the tune of about $35,000, $40,000. And this guy has got to move and doesn't have any money to move. Does that make sense? So there's a lot less control there. Now, the other thing you can take advantage whether you buy is taking advantage of tax situations. For instance, when you buy a house, did you know you get tax credit for your down payment and your closing costs? You get a little thing with big jig in the mail, you hang with your taxes, and usually you get the majority of your closing costs back in tax credit. Here's another funny thing. You can put money into your house, and as you're improving the house, you can claim that on your taxes. When you're renting from somebody else, you can't do any of that. You're giving them your money. Now, I grant it, you're thinking, somebody else is responsible for the maintenance. When you buy a house, you're responsible for the maintenance. But anything that you're putting into the house, for instance, if you put a deck on, or you put new windows in, or you put a new roof on, those expenses can be shown on your taxes as home improvements. I like it. If you're renting from Joe Miller down the road here and you don't have any tax benefit. So there you go. There's also a pride in home ownership. And I'm going to tell you this. When people rent a house, they don't necessarily take pride in their houses. If you've rented anywhere, even home ownership's kind of like that too. But if you rent anywhere and you can't control what your neighbor is doing. A lot of times when you're in a neighborhood and you own the house, everybody's cut the grass the same way. They've got all their stuff picked up. There's usually no cars up on blocks. But if you go into a rental neighborhood where 80% or more of the places are for rent, all of a sudden you've got people who don't cut their grass. Tall grass attracts rodents and all that kind of thing. So you have no control over yourself in rentals as opposed to when you buy. The long-term cost savings, while buying a house might be higher upfront cost, in the long run, it could be the most effective than renting. I mean, with renting, you're automatically throwing your money down into the landlord's pocket. Here's something else too. You get into trouble. You own the house. You're getting older. You have plenty of equity in the house. Your adult children have moved away, and you decide, in order to carry on some expenses with you, you decide to rent rooms to different people. Maybe you have a full basement. Maybe you have a couple of rooms in the basement. And with the way rentals are, you could rent, turn that into potential cash cow, and that way you can supplement your income with that rental. Now, I understand being a landlord's kind of tough. You got to deal with people all the time. So that is definitely a disadvantage. But sometimes you get really good tenants that live there forever, ever and ever and ever, and they're constantly paying you a fee every month for that privilege of living in your home, which now has equity. So those are just a few things about buying and renting. I can't tell you what's better for you because of your situation. However, I am a real estate agent. I do know Baltimore, Maryland. I do know the counties. I do know that rentals right now are probably 10% higher, if not more, than the mortgages on houses you can buy. I do know that for a fact. So you have to determine what's right for you and your family. But there are substantial advantages to buying a house. There always has been, there always will be, as opposed to renting. Once you throw the money in the landlord's pocket, it's done. So again, I like putting this video together for you. So what are you going to do? You're going to buy or are you going to rent? You can always hit the consultation button up above here. It's free of charge. And go over those situations with you. I'll tell you exactly what I think you should do. Look, I get a lot of phone calls from folks just like you every day, and I absolutely love it. Whether you email me or call me or text me, don't worry. I've got your back when it comes to real estate. Again, I'm John Ruckman. I'm the Charm City property dude. Baltimore and the surrounding counties is what I know. Go ahead and watch this video or that video, and I'll catch you on the next video. All right, the thing I wanted to share with you, if you stayed till the very end and you're after the other videos and stuff, once upon a time, In a land far, far away, I used to play the Lord Chancellor at Arundel Mills medieval dinner theater. I used to have my hair down to my shoulder blades, and I used to ride out on an Andalusian stallion, and I used to announce the knights of the realm, the Green Knight, Red Knight. So, yes, here's a picture of me on horseback, and yeah, so that's the secret. If you'd stay tuned this long, I used to do that. Thank you very much for checking out the channel. It means a lot. Your time is important, and coming here and checking out these videos is awesome. Go ahead and check out these other videos for great content. My content is always up to date and the latest and greatest. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks again.